Good morning to you on the business desk at this hour. The agricultural sector has posted yet another year of strong exports. This is seen as a sign of resilience following a 4% jump in foreign agricultural earnings. It marks a new record high underpinned by strong commodity prices. For more on this, we are joined by senior agricultural economist at FNB, Paul Makube. Thank you so much for your time, Paul. First, let's unpack that 4% jump as it is noted in that reading. What is it attributed to?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Yes, excellent performance from the agriculture sector in terms of exports. This was underpinned by, strong commodity prices over, 2022, despite the tough conditions in which agriculture operated. We saw, export interruptions due to disease outbreaks. We saw challenges with the EU with regard to the fourth quarterly moth situation that temporarily slowed, head exports, with FMD completely shutting down exports. And we also saw FMD causing, havoc in the country in terms of, a halt in, slaughtering activity on the part of the, red meat producers.
As a result of those impediments, Paul, would you say that the near-term outlook that has been given of risks that loom in the near-term trajectory are as a direct conflict of what is taking place around the agricultural sector, and that outlook is not looking too positive?
Yes, of course, the challenges are still continuing. I mean, this year we started on a very negative note on the agriculture sector, with load shedding escalating and, impacted on the, intensive sectors, and, cost pressures are now mounting as a result of the use of, diesel to power generators for intensive livestock systems, for the irrigation guys as well, thanks to the rains that, alleviated that kind of pressure. But in terms of the outlook, we're looking at the situation where the season is going to end up on a really positive note for the summer crops, and we enter into winter, with relatively good, production conditions for the livestock sector. But going forward, there's talk of El Nino coming in later in the year. Hopefully, it becomes mild and not severe. But excellent conditions over the past 3 years ensure that the agriculture actually, is on a very stable footing at the moment. If we, fix, situation with ESCOM in terms of power supply, we will be able to see another excellent, agricultural season, going forward.
To what extent is the rolling power black outages in South Africa having that impact on the agricultural sector, particularly role players, farmers and the like?
Oh, well, it's very severe. If you look at, various value chains, obviously the crops that are on the land that do not need irrigation, that is dry land, is not necessarily severely impacted. But if you look at the intensive livestock system, the poultry industry, the pork industry, the dairy industry that, require, energy on a daily basis to actually operate, the irrigation farmers that need to power the center pipers to actually, irrigate crops. But if you look at up the value chain in terms of, first processing of crops, the millers and so on, obviously they are impacted in terms of, the load shedding, and obviously those are, huge costs that, that they have to incur.
Let's also talk about the pros and cons of the status of the agricultural sector. Yes, there's positives, but at the same time there are negatives, and I'm interested in finding out how this then plays a role in food prices, particularly for the end consumer. We've seen food inflation being highlighted as one of the risks within economic activity.
Yes, food inflation is, at the moment very sticky, double-digit numbers. And obviously, the energy crisis that we're having in the country will definitely impact on the, food prices, given the fact that this costs at some stage have to be passed on to the consumers, because these are definitely direct, costs. hopefully the announced measures to actually try to mitigate this through the interventions that the minister announced will actually go a long way in terms of alleviating pressure on the farmer. But at the moment, farmers are still reeling under pressure from those interruptions to load shedding.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Paul Makube is an agricultural economist at FNB, talking to us about the latest developments when it comes to activity in the agricultural sector in South Africa. Positive gains on the side of exports.